can you kind of take us through that like transition to becoming a business owner? Because I think that's a real huge milestone for a lot of people to become a business owner, but not only to like become a business owner, to become a successful business owner like you've been, because a lot of people can start a business, but most businesses fail, and yours has done extremely well. So how did you get that process started, and how did that come about?
Well, when originally getting into business, I thought that was a path to having a business. Was being what I love about appraising is you can set your own schedule, and it just gradually rolled into that. And I've always been very customer centric with my attitude related to this business, and love the valuation business. And as soon as I felt that was working, I felt, well, I'm just going to duplicate this process. So, and really it started off as a staff firm where we had 7 or 8 staff appraisers here in the Valley, and things were happening, and we had some clients that really loved us. And there was a big transition to go through an AMC model just from all the downside of the financial crisis and Dodd-Frank. And I had a couple clients approach me and just like how we delivered service, how we answered the phones. And believe it or not, the simple things that any business does, we just did it well, and that resulted into a business growing. So can't explain it any better than that. Yeah. I would love to say that there's a book to write, but it really isn't. If you can do the small things the right way, you probably can have a business.
Yeah. I think that's awesome, and it's so true. It's hard for people to hear sometimes, and like saying something like that is not like something where you're going to get 100,000 views in a video on Instagram, because it's not like sexy, but it's the truth, and that's how like things really come together like that. Like one of my favorite companies is Nordstrom. I always have loved Nordstrom, and whenever you go in there, it's always like the store is so nice. The people on staff are so knowledgeable. They take great care of you. They're always going to make it right. That's just a simple, basic things, but they do it extremely well.
And it works.
Yeah.
We need more of that.
Yeah, for sure. What for people who like the average consumer, they don't really understand the AMC lender relationship and how that process works. So from a consumer perspective, not knowing any industry background, could you kind of explain how that process works between AMC and lender?
Yeah, absolutely. So the AMC's role is just to be an extension of the lender, and meaning that our goal is to promote independence. And so that has probably been abused over time, and depending on the client. We have some clients that really respect that process and love it. But from an industry standpoint, really the appraisal management model was designed to really help protect the appraiser to be independent, and there was no lender influence on values or results of an appraisal. So that process has been modified where it's now more, hey, what can we help clients with in the complete side of the appraisal process? So not just from a traditional appraisal, but reviews, quality control, even service, right? How can we better service? So the consumer sometimes, where the consumer gets in trouble with this, and unfortunately, they see AppraisalTek or another AMC as the responsible party to evaluation. And that partially is true. But if John Doe, the appraiser, is being independent and they come up with XYZ, the number, and the consumer doesn't like that number, John Doe doesn't necessarily see the wrath of that. It's generally the AMC.
Yeah.
So that's where I think the consumer, I feel bad for them not understanding that process, because I've had to explain it multiple times, whether it's through a Better Business Bureau complaint or just a phone call, right?
Yeah.
It's always tough for them to see that, because they're paying AppraisalTek or paying another AMC.